Hey everyone, okay, so different video today than the normal ones. I will try and keep it as short and condensed as I can. So first an update, and thank you to everybody that has been inquiring and messaging me, leaving comments about the teeth situation. So yesterday was Wednesday and I went to have my 2-hour root canal appointment with an endodontist, not a dentist. And nothing wrong with dentists, but just with an endodontist this time. So after the procedure was done and it was painless, he said, well, no wonder you've been in so much pain, because the original person that did the root canal, they missed one of the roots, and that's why you've been in pain. So for 2 months I've been walking around with this incredible pain in my jaw and tooth, just throbbing all the time because there was a root missed. I've been on 2 courses of antibiotics, I've been on painkillers for 2 months, and you know, it is what it is. Today is the first day the root canal has not hurt. However, I'm still on painkillers because of these awful front teeth, so I had them replaced because they were just damaged and worn, and I've got incredible sensitivity in 1, 2 or 3 of the new temporary teeth. I'm hoping that that goes away because these do require painkillers to deal with it. Like even talking and feeling the air come in my mouth causes the teeth to just go on edge and start to, it's not a fun process. It's been a miserable process. I have the permanent set going on next Friday. I'm absolutely dreading it. I'm dreading every single aspect of it. I'm dreading the procedure. I'm dreading the aftermath of it because I no longer have faith that everything's going to be okay. But I'm keeping everything crossed that it will be, because I had it up to here now with tooth pain. So this video also is just trying to explain briefly why my videos have been a bit lackluster and shit really recently. About 6 weeks ago or so right around the time also I was experiencing pain, I received a lovely little email from somebody I know who sent me a link, and there was a little paragraph in it, and the link was to a property that was for sale for £1 million. And then the paragraph read, this is your old accountant, he is selling his property and he is moving abroad to avoid any form of ramifications for what he's done to people like me, I suppose, and other people. And I shouldn't have opened it, I shouldn't have clicked on it, but you do, don't you? And it just brought everything right back again. You know, everything that happened, everything that he'd done, everything that the position he'd put me in, and the amount of money that I lost, and that was just taken away from me. And now he's fucked off abroad and is living a marvelous life while he's done this to people like me, and it's bothered me ever since, and I can't get it out of my head. And I think that toppled with the fact that I'm in constant pain, it's just made me feel very, very low. I'm not depressed, but I'm aware that I'm feeling down and I'm feeling low at the moment, and I'm trying hard to get out of it, but it's difficult because there's this merry-go-round of all this stuff that's happening and these thoughts, because I would never do anything to anybody that was harmful on purpose. I would never mislead anybody or purposely try and get them into a situation where not only am I giving away huge amounts of money and paying huge amounts of money to this accountant, but he's also putting me in this position where I am just, in dire straits. And now he's just gone, and he's sold his house, or selling his house, and he's just moving abroad. It's just outrageous. I find it hard to understand how people like that can live with themselves and what they've done to people. Not just me, because I'm not the only one. There has to be more that he's done this to. And he gets to just swan off into the sunset. It's just outrageous. I grew up with nothing and there was no money. And I'd saved and worked hard enough that I had this money that was going to see me through, that I was okay with, and then it was just gone. Everything was taken, and I didn't do anything wrong. It's just outrageous. So I think when you add all that together, and also just the general stresses as well of running a business, because when you don't know your arse from your elbow like me, I'm not a businessman, and you're self-funding everything, it is a struggle, because the way that at least the cosmetic side of things works, with the brushes it tends to be that you have to pay 100% up front for production and for them to start work. But with the makeup you tend to pay sort of 50%. But then it takes sort of 6, 7, 8, 12, 24 months sometimes to have these things created. And then you have to pay the other 50%. But then it's still 3 or 4 months, 5 months sometimes, until you've recouped that money. And then it's gone again because you've replenished it. And the stress, I think, of that is very, very hard, because you're juggling everything all the time. And when you combine that with the fact that I lost pretty much everything, 80% of everything I'd ever worked for, you're in this constant juggle act, and it's stressful, and then there's pain, and then there's the emotional turmoil of the accountant, and it's just you know, it's been just rotten. And the irony is as I'm speaking to you now, because this is the most I've spoken in, well, I don't know how long, I can feel the air going on my teeth, causing my teeth to hurt. It's like this beautiful merry-go-round of pleasure at the moment, and I just want to get off and stop for a bit. But I also wanted to mention that, so this is the reason why my videos have been a bit shit recently and lackluster, but also that I'm aware that my channel started off as a way of explaining makeup and tips and tricks and techniques, but there are only so many tips and tricks and techniques out there, and after a decade I pretty much exhausted most of them. And I know that I have to move and transition into other things like reviews, but you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because people want and expect the tricks and techniques, but at the same time there is only so many, so you have no choice but to do the reviews. But the reviews don't get as much views as the tips and techniques do, so you're stuck between this rock and a hard place, trying to rack your brain sometimes, thinking, well, what can I do? Because I've done it, you know. It's just been a bit of a rotten time, and there are things to be grateful for, so much to be grateful for, and it's exciting things coming this month and next month, and I know that, but I'm just stuck on this little merry-go-round of pleasure, and you're trying to come off of it sometimes, and it's difficult when you're not a particularly talkative person to people. And sometimes when you do talk to people, they will just say, well, you know, you'll get over it. Well, what if you don't? You know, what if you don't? I don't know, it just feels a bit ugh at the minute. But I appreciate you listening. You listen more than anyone else in the whole wide world. So I do appreciate that very much. And I will see you next time with some tips, tricks, techniques, or a review. Who knows? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.